I will use the driving shaft with bearings I've made in last week's video to make this drill-powered disc sander. I bought this plywood board. This edge is perfectly straight, so I mark it. Now I draw a strip of plywood that is as wide as the distance from the outside of one bearing to the outside of the other bearing. And I mark the center. And I do the same in the other side of this plywood board. And I cut all 4 pieces. I also cut this piece of board. It will be the base for the drill and for the shaft support. Now these are 2 of the strips I've cut. This is the straight edge. I glue both together, making sure the straight edges make a flat surface. And I also glue the other 2 strips together. In both cases, to make sure they will make a flat surface, I press the straight edges against the tabletop. Now I put one against the other. The flat surfaces are against the tabletop, but I won't glue them. I clamp them while I press them against the tabletop to make sure they will make a flat surface. I mark the center. And now, with the flat surface on the drill press table, I drill with a Forstner bit. I should sharpen this Forstner bit. That is why it took so much time to drill this piece. Now I can screw 1/2 in the edge of the plywood base. And this is why one must put the hand away from the screw when using the cordless driver. If my hand were there, I would have burst one nail. A bad experience. Now I put there the shaft with bearings. And because I've used a 25mm Forstner bit and the bearings are 26mm in diameter, now I must put there some pieces of cardboard. And I screw the other half. I removed that homemade drill support. I'll show how I made that drill support in another video, and I put there the new base. And I screw it. I put the drill. And let's see, now there are almost any vibrations. But when I turn the drill off, it moves. Now this is the plywood disc I made 2 weeks ago, link in the description. I will put there one washer, but it won't sit well against the self-locking nut, so first I put one nut. Now I put the washer, and I screw the plywood disc. I tighten it. I put another washer, and I tighten another nut. And I cut the threaded rod. I will use this disc to cover the nut. In the other side it has a hole to fit the nut in. I turn the drill on, and now there are some vibrations, and the disc wobbles. So now I have to rectify this disc once again. But first I will use epoxy to glue the washer, the nut and the plywood disc. I let it dry and I rectify the plywood disc. I will use this as a lathe, so I will use the chisel to turn the plywood disc, trying to get a disc that is perfectly at 90 degrees with the shaft. And that is how I will try to get rid of the wobble. It is easier if I use a turning gauge. In the back of the disc is enough when we feel the gauge doesn't jump anymore. It doesn't mind if the back of the disc is not perfectly flat, but the front of the disc must be flat. This is the thick of the sanding disc, and this is the thick of the original plywood board. A narrow chisel is also useful to rectify the disc, and it helps to flatten the front of the disc. I sand it, and I check if the other disc fits. I have to cut a deeper hole in the center, and finally I've cut it from one side to the other, and I also had to contour bore to fit the washer. I spread some glue and I glue both discs together. I had to disassemble the shaft to clamp both discs. I let the glue dry and I mounted it again. Now I will rectify the edge of the disc. You can see I have used some wood filler paste to close the hole in the center of the disc. I also check the front of the disc, but I think it is okay. I sand and I use the file to make sure the wood filler paste is flat. Now I will use this sandpaper. I cut a circle with the same diameter as the plywood disc. I spray some stencil adhesive. I wait for 30 seconds and I glue the circle sandpaper to the plywood disc. And here I have my homemade disc sander. This disc sander sands quite well. But I almost forget to check if the disc is at 90 degrees with the table. It looks like I must wedge the front of the table so it is at 90 degrees with the disc. Anyway, it won't be perfect, because there is yet a little deviation in the disc. Anyway, so far I have used it in some projects, and it sounds very well. Thanks for watching. In the description you can find the links to the videos where I show how I made the shaft with bearings and the plywood disc. You can also watch all my woodworking videos in my channel in YouTube. And if you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.